everybody, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 here, and welcome to my first distro review for 2023, Peppermint Dev 1 Edition. Let's not waste time, let's get started, shall we? First, a little drink of coffee. Perfect. Now, as you all see here, we have this lovely little boot screen here that you guys get when you first boot into the ISO for the first time. You got your normal 64-bit option right here to boot in. You can go in with um, this option right here for local section support. You also got utilities here. You got a failsafe mode, hardware detection tool. You also got some recovery options here. And that's basically it. So, what do you say we boot in, shall we? Now, I got this thing on scaled mode for now, just so you all can see, just so you all can see me boot into this. And also, as always, if you enjoy the content that I bring you onto this channel, if you want to see more distro reviews, Yu-Gi-Oh content, open chats, which there is one scheduled for March 8th at 5 p.m. Then smash that like button and support my channel. Thank you. So, we are pretty much up and running. I know the screen is a little small for you guys. I'm sorry about that. But let's fix that a little bit, shall we? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little X render. We're going to do an S. We're going to do 800 by 600. Okay. That's not as big as I wanted. So what do you say we go just a wee bit bigger? So let's look at our options here for displays. Okay, I have an idea. We're going to do 1024 by 768. This for now. Actually, putting it in skill mode, folks, might have been a not so good idea. So I think what we're going to end up doing here, we're going to take it out of scale mode. Then what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the 800 option. There we go. That's more like it. All right, fixed it. Okay. I know it's a little bit small for now, people, but just bear with me, okay? So basically, we're inside the ISO here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this lovely install Peppermint button. Now we wait. Welcome to Peppermint. So you click next. Of course, America, New York, the default Eastern Standard Time. Yes, default English keyboard, erase disk, yes. Now you can select a whole myriad of options from this menu before you go through the full installation. Like you have developer's choice up here, you have a whole bunch of stuff right here from web browsers, document viewers, etc., etc. You also have the XFC goodies, the internet applications, which I think for just so we have a web browser of sorts, we'll just choose Firefox. You also have your office suites here, mainly LibreOffice. You got your printer support with cups. You got audio, video. You got your audio, video players and tools. So you have all that. So you have this is all your audio and video stuff right here. There's so many options. You got like FFmpeg, got Lame, Well 64 Chaotix. You also got Audacious, Clementine, Lollipop, VLC. You also got Audacity. You also got Sound Converter. For video players, you got MPV, Parole, and VLCs here too. Basically, the list goes on and on. Then for graphics, you've got Krita and GIMP, very popular tools. And right here, you got utilities, which is where you're going to find your X archiver, your 7-zip, your unrar, yada yada yada, common archiving tools. You also have the disk and USB tools, from GNOME Disk Utility to Brazzaro. Got your fingerprint driver support. You got the GNOME Software Center if you want that. Got a wonderful package manager with KeyPass XC. That's the default package. That's the default password manager I've used for a good number of years now. I don't like storing my passwords on a web browser. I feel that it makes it too easy for hackers to get that sensitive data. So I keep all my passwords offline in a very secure password.kb keypassxc file. Thankfully. So it basically gives me not only peace of mind, but also as a privacy activist, it helps with privacy and security. So we got resource managers. I think we'll get HTOP as well. And we got like DM, change the greeter there too. Got system applications with the framework package, the package kit, GVFS backends. And you got system utilities with time shift, solar, caffeine, barrier. And then for terminal emulators, you're going to have the XFCE terminal by default. But if you want something just a little bit more retro, a little bit more old school, like mid late 90s, like I usually like the cool retro term. That's one of my favorites. And then right down here, you got your Wi-Fi, Broadcom Wi-Fi support, plus your processor um, microcode here for both AMD and Intel. But since this is a virtual machine, we won't need to deal with that. And then right down here, you got NVIDIA driver support and wine support. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit next. We're going to call this machine test, because this is a test machine for education and demonstration purposes. And I will put in the super secret password that is not 1234. And there we go. And I don't know how long this installation is going to take, people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the footage right here, and I will come back to you all when the installation is complete. So be right back. Okay, people, we are back, and it seems Peppermint is done installing. What we're going to do right now is we are going to reboot. We're just going to wait. Don't forget to eject the disk. And we'll do that. And perfect. So now we're booting into the actual system. And then, just so you all can see this thing much better, the first thing we'll do before we do anything else is we'll install the VirtualBox Guest Editions. I think that's a good idea. How about you? Okay, so just give this a minute to boot up, and then we'll get the Guest Editions going. Okay? Type in the super secret password. Now, just wait a minute. We gotta make sure this thing boots up correctly. Now, don't worry, even though you can't see everything right now, I'll be able to fix that over time. But before we go any further, this is the welcome screen here. Welcome to Peppermint OS, as it says. You have a whole bunch of categories here, ranging from desktop, from apps and web browser, all the way down to your build log. And also, if you want to support the Peppermint team and the community, here's all the links to support them right here. I encourage you to spread the word of Peppermint Linux to everywhere because these guys work so hard to bring us one of the best Linux distros of all time. So, to the Peppermint team, thank you so much. So, without further ado, let's get going and installing our VirtualBox Guest Editions. So, what we're going to do is we got our terminal up here. So, I'll go to VirtualBox here and inject the CD. Now, just to make sure that the CD is in, I'm going to go to Applications. I'm going to go to our File Manager. Just to make sure that it's mounted, and it's not mounted as of yet, but now it's mounted. So now we go to CD/media, CD test, CD VBox GAs, and then what you want to do is sudo bash VBox Linux editions.run. Then you want to type in the super secret password, and now this is going to install the guest editions. So once the guest editions are installed, you guys will be able to see um, the complete environment. So give this about a minute or two because this will not take long at all. Okay. So building the modules for kernel 5.10.019. Perfect. That's what it should be doing. And then once the guest editions are working, we have our proper resolution set. We will continue with the rest of the tutorial. I don't know what we're going to start with first. I think we'll start first with the standard stuff, start menu and all that. Just work our way through. I think that sounds like a good idea. Now, once again, people, I'm gonna be a little rusty at these distro review type videos because it's been a few years since I've done one of these, so bear with me. Okay, and we are done. So now what we're going to do is you go up to your devices, go to optical drive, move the disk. Now you do sudo reboot. And now just wait for it to reboot. Okay, Peppermint's loading up. Okay, type in our password again. And now the guest edition should hopefully be loaded. I hope. I really do hope. And it works. Perfect. Okay, we have our guest editions, people. Nice. I'm pretty sure you all can see everything perfectly peachy. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Now we can get into the meat and the potatoes of this. So right here we're running XFCE. Just want to first see what version of XFCE we're running. Okay, so we're running 4.16. Perfect. Okay, so we got our XFCE panel here. We got our clock, our sound, our notifications. We got the updater. We got our computer battery icon. We have our network manager right here. We got our workspaces, which I can use the scroll bar. I can use my scroll wheel, or I can just do this. Doesn't matter. Right here, we got some more options here too. We got Synaptic, Text Editor, Advanced Network Configuration, Power Manager, and Run Program. We got the Peppermint Hub, which I'll show you the hub real quick. We got X Daily, Decomp Editor, TTK Creator, Pulse Audio, System Info, XFC settings, User Group settings, Update Manager, H Block, Network settings, Printer settings, Disk Release. Right here you got PepScope, Flat Hub, Gnome Web Store, Suggested, which if you go here, type in your password, you can get some suggested apps that the Peppermint team has put here. I don't need any more apps myself, but if you wanted something else, you can go here if you want. You also got the App Image Hub and Synaptic here. If you want app images, or if you just want to get app packages from Synaptic. There's also an option to install Flatpak if you want that too. Other than that, this is very simple to the point. I don't think I need to explain anything else. The next thing we are going to do is update our system. So normally I would use the updater on my systems, but for those people that want a faster way of updating, let me show you something. What you do is that you bring up a terminal and type sudo apt update. Type in your password. There we go. Then what you do is you do sudo apt upgrade, which will bring down the latest packages. And now the system is going to update itself. This update is going to take maybe about a minute or two. So just to spare you guys the time of waiting, I'm going to pause it right here, and we will be right back when this thing is finished. Be right back, people. Okay, people, we are back. I also decided to reboot the system as well. This way, you guys wouldn't have to sit through that. And now, with all the prerequisites out of the way, we can finally start looking at this thing. So basically, just to explain one more time, this is the XFCE desktop environment. It's a Windows-like environment. So if you're coming from Windows, you'll get used to this very quickly. Got your clock here, volume, notification, your updater if you wanted to update the system that way. Um, your battery icon, your network manager, your workspaces, the Peppermint Hub, which we already talked about, This is your terminal icon, and this is your file manager, which let's look at the file manager. So this currently is the Nemo file manager, a very popular file manager used by the Linux Mint, but it can be also found here in Peppermint, or Peppy as I call it. Basically, you got your document folder, your download, music, pictures, your public template, videos, desktop, all the shebang. Um, you also got your file system here. This is basically the key files of your Linux installation here. So unless you have a reason to go in here, like to modify something, whatever, I wouldn't recommend coming in here unless you know what you're doing. Um, so that's pretty much the file manager in a nutshell. Also, before I exit out of file manager, there's a show files button, hidden files button in the view area. So this will bring up everything else that you need to see here. That's that. Now, this is our terminal here, the XFCE terminal. There we go. So just to demonstrate something here, we're going to type uname-r to see what kernel version we're running, and we're running 5.10.0.20 5.10.0-21. So that's our terminal. And oh, I forgot to mention one thing. We installed HTOP as well. So right now, our virtual machine is using 336 megabytes out of 3.84 gigs because I gave this virtual machine 4 gigs of RAM out of my 8 gigs of RAM that my computer has. So that's good. So that's pretty much it for the bar here. So right here is your start menu. So let's start with accessories. You pretty much got your application finder, your archive manager, your clipboard manager, GNOME disks, your file manager here, Emo. You also got your menu editors, your XFCE screenshot tool, task manager. You also got a mouse pad here, good old mouse pad, very good text editor. For those who like Windows' Notepad, you'll love that too. And you also got Vim, very good terminal-based text editor. You also got the icon browser in the development area. For graphics, you have document scanner. Multimedia, you got pulse audio volume control. For settings, you got all sorts of settings that you can tweak, modify to your heart's content. Right now in the appearance area, I'm on the red dark Peppermint 10 theme. Let's say I wanted to change it to something else, like the arc red dark. I can pretty much go to that. Or maybe or if I wanted to change my icons, we can go to iris dark. So we can do that as well. And you also got your font settings, which you can change the fonts to any font you want. And you got some additional settings here too. So right here, we also got, like I said, some additional settings here. You got default application, so you can set your default browser and all that for there. Desktop. This is where you can change the wallpaper. So Peppermint out of the box doesn't have that many wallpapers, but you can get more of them. This is my favorite wallpaper by far. It's a very good wallpaper. Makes perfect sense for for this distro. Um, Also, as we scroll down, you also got your mouse and touchpad settings here. You got the power manager. There's another way for you to get to the Peppermint Hub. Print settings. removable devices and media, your screensaver settings, your session and startup, got your settings editor, your settings manager, the Synaptic Package Manager, and basically got all these other settings right here. You go into systems, this is where your terminal is mainly located, your date and time settings, your users and group settings, task manager, Synaptic Package Manager, your printer settings, your HTOP, your G-parted settings. Well, G-parted, sorry. It basically allows you to basically reorganize partitions, delete partitions, make new partitions, etc. You also got the GDebi package installer if you want to install deb packages. And right here is the other terminal I installed, the cool retro terminal. So for those who like computers, who liked computers from back in the mid to late 90s, this is the terminal for you. Um, so it has a retro clean look to it. Very nice terminal. And then basically to round up the review, I know there's not a browser in here, but if you wanted to install a browser, uh, 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 but if you wanted to install a browser, you can install Firefox, you can install Chromium. Those two are the two browsers I recommend. Um, Other than that, you can really install any browser you want. But other than that, this is my review of Peppermint Dev 1 Edition. Oh, before I forget, one more thing I want to cover before we wrap things up, and I almost forgot about this. Um, the difference between the Debian version and the Dev 1 version of Peppermint is the Dev 1 version of Peppermint uses sysvnet instead of systemd. Now, I know you're asking yourself, how do I use sysvnet? Well, let me show you. So what we're going to do first is just for example, let me install one of my favorite packages, preload. So it's going to install preload here. And there we go. So now what you're going to do is normally, if systemd is installed, you would do sudo systemctl enable preload. Not with this. What you do is the following: sudo /etc /init.d/preload start. And there we go. Starting adaptive read-ahead domain, preload is already running. So perfect. It's already started. So say you wanted to stop preload. Instead of start, you stop. So stop and start is your main two commands you want to do. It's that simple. So that's how sysvnet works. It's not difficult. You have to know the proper start and stop commands in order to understand it properly. So that's sysvnet in a nutshell. So anywho, that is it for this review of Peppermint Dev 1 Edition. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and until next time, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 saying see you later!